Welcome back, everybody. Trying to get these YouTubes a little more consistent. We hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much. But we're trying to get the watch hours up. The only way to do that is to post more videos. As you can see, this thing's sitting on the ground right now. Those lift arms aren't touching. It's not at ride height, just because it has no weight in it. But it's getting there. So it's sitting pretty high right now. Rear coilovers I've got turned almost all the way down just so it's a workable height, because we don't have a fuel cell, we don't have a tire, we don't have any weight on it, but you can kind of see how high this thing's sitting, the side of its shoulder height. It'll sit probably another 3-4 inches lower, and how I know that is the bump stops here have a good 6 inches. They should be about 3 or 4 inches away. So yeah, I've also got the coilovers turned up quite a bit just so it's kind of halfway level with the rear. It's gonna be a never-ending thing of adjusting coilovers. But what we're doing right now, and today / tomorrow, is fuel cell. So my plan here is to run dual pumps inside the fuel cell. Kind of got this idea from FSU Off-Road, where he made his own fuel hanger. We're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take the factory fuel pump for the 2UZ Toyota one, because it works fine. It's been sitting out in the parking lot for 8 months inside the fuel tank, but whatever. And then I've got on order a URD fuel pump for same thing. What we'll do is we will run primarily off the URD pump, and then the factory pump will be the backup. Figured, why not? And how we'll do that is kind of some one-way valves and plumbing trickery here. But what I have to do first is open the fuel cell here, because we need to make a fuel hanger. So we have to take all these off, make a fuel hanger. I've got some bulkhead fittings coming in, electrical ones, so we can tap into this plate here and our electrical can go in there, and then that'd be another thing off the checklist. So I'll kind of walk you guys along how we're going to do this. Not 100% sure how I'm going to do it yet. I just know I'm going to do it. So let's open the fuel cell and see what we have to work with inside of there, because apparently, looked on where I ordered this thing off of Summit, I believe, the fuel pickup picks up from one of the back corners. So hopefully it's not a hard tube, hopefully it's a flexible tube. We can just take that off. If not, we'll be ordering a bulkhead fitting for the fuel pickup. So here we go. There we go. So, pretty, kind of hard to see in there because it's pretty black, but there it is. It was a hard tube, but luckily, looks like we can just unscrew this, figure out what size thread those are, and we can just make our own thing. So, that's really tight working area, but we'll figure it out. We'll probably just do a flexible hose and make a whole fuel sending unit carrier that just plops down in there, and we'll make arms that come up and just push against and like brace left and right, because we still have to add foam in here, which I've got. That whole box is full, and then there's another box over there, that entire mess that's full of foam, because we have to have foam inside our fuel cell. So we'll build all the foam and the fuel like holder and sending unit all in there. So let's figure the next thing out. I was gonna take a video of me taking that out, but it's freezing outside this morning. So just used our new fuel tank tool. I've been working on cars since 2003, 2004, and I've always just taken off the ring with a big standard screwdriver and a dead blow. that thing's actually really cool. But here's our whole fuel sitting here. If you guys have never seen one on about most vehicles, what it has is, this is what you usually see on top of your tank. It has the plug for pretty much the, what does that plug go to? Oh, that's the fuel return, sorry. No, what is that? Oh, that's an EVAP one. Yeah, we don't need that anymore. So it's got pretty much your plugs and everything for your gauge, your sending unit, and then also your pump, which is this black and blue wire right there. We'll tear that apart and I'll show you that in a second. And then you have your return and your pressure line. This is kind of like a bulkhead fitting that we will use for there, but obviously this is made into it. But one thing I'm thinking is I wonder if we can keep our gauge working. How cool would that be? Do some measuring. We might be able to keep this whole unit, and we'll just get rid of all this plastic on top here and just keep this whole assembly that falls in, because what's really nice is the return dumps into this canister, and the canister only has like a few small holes that allows fuel to go in. So that way, if you're side cambered on a hill, all the fuel's not sloshing on one side of the tank. Well, I mean, most of it will, but the return that the pump doesn't use will dump back in here. And we can keep our gauge, which would be kind of cool. We'll see. It might not be worth it. It's probably just gonna be easier to make a whole thing, but we'll see if measurements work out. So took the unit apart, took the bottom cap off of it. There's the fuel pump right there, little pickup sock, and return and pressure lines. But the widest thing is the base here. It fits in this hole with some finagling. I think we might do our gauge. There we go. Whole fuel pump assembly, take it apart. That used to live in there. We don't need that anymore. We'll have this. So what I'm thinking about doing is we're gonna see if we can drop the main pump in there. We'll just secure it with hose clamps or something. And then we're gonna see if we can fit the other URD, which I'm pretty sure is like a Walboro, just rebranded, in here as well. And then we will pump our fuel return, which is that one right there. It's just open and dumping fuel. We'll take it and we'll plumb it down to drain in here. As you can see, because there's excess fuel pressure in your system, it comes back into the tank. It will dump into here. So this right here should stay full all the time. So even if you're leaning, like I said before, your bucket here will stay full. That's the plan anyways. We'll see what we can do with it. There we go. URD pump is on the bottom. Stacked on top of that is the factory one. They're both inside the bucket here, just secured with hose clamps. If you ever do a URD pump upgrade, that's how they tell you to hold it in. So it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Drilled a couple little holes all above the fuel sock line down there. Also, the little one-way valve, we took and opened it up a little bit more, but the one-way valve is still down in there. And then I did one super small hole on the very bottom that's still pretty much above the bottom fuel sock. Just, I figured if we got soot or anything in there, it gives it an actual chance to wash out if it has to. We'll see. Most guys don't run one of these, they just drop their pumps and a hanger in the tank and it's good enough for them, so we should be good. And it works out because that right there is the fuel return, so it's dumping fuel down. Doesn't have a thing there, it sits like that, which works out perfectly. The fuel will dump straight out of that and just kind of rain down and fill this thing up. Now I'm getting ready to make the whole holder assembly that will hold this to this that goes down in there. So I'll show you how to do that. Measuring the tank all the way down, right at 14 inches. Then we'll take this, which is, we'll call that 5 1/4. And we will make bars that attach to this that we will then weld to this piece of metal here. So it's all one sending unit that falls in. Let's go. Whole fuel sending unit and carrier is complete, minus waiting on the bulkhead fitting for that. 3 electrical bulkhead fittings for main pump, auxiliary pump, and the fuel sender. Already test fit it, works. The gauge here should work too because the float has no problems. Guess we're gonna work on filling this thing with foam, minus where this thing fits in. All right, it is after hours, getting ready to go home, but today was kind of a productive day. So, whole fuel sending unit's done, waiting on the bulkhead fitting. That's a 5/16 to come through it, which it's a 5/16 to a 6 AN, I believe. It might be an 8 AN. I can't remember what I ordered, but that'll fill that hole in the top of that. And then, since we've been closed, I got the fuel cell in and the radiator back in. So awesome. You can actually access the whole like sending unit and top hat for the fuel tank without taking the radiator or anything out, which is awesome. And then what else we get done? Got all the hardware and stuff on, everything's anti-seized. I figured out where we're gonna mount the reservoir for the rear shock. It has been undecided until this point because I couldn't figure it out. We're gonna put it right there. So that'll look awesome. There's a tube that supports the whole fuel assembly. So it'll go there. But yeah, that's about it on this thing. I think I did for today. Looked at a lot more stuff, but didn't really get much done right now. So thanks for watching the video. This should be a good one. Gonna try doing more updates like this, and more like shop updates as we work on customer cars too. But yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for 1,000 subscribers. I think I checked this morning, we're at 1,005, which is awesome. Just need to get the watch hours up there. So see you guys later. Bye.